Ben Thompson, FightHype.com. Got to ask you, obviously, Kovalev just won tonight. What'd you think about the performance?
It was unusual. A guy, the history of boxing is that guy who gets undressed by Andre Ward, knocked out, he gets undressed in a fight, the aura of invincibility is gone, the bully is never the same. And we saw that against Alvarez. The next time Kovalev was in with a live body, he got knocked out again. And he's pointing to trainers, it's not, I'm overtrained. I mean, we've heard all these excuses before. So in a fight like this, he'll do well early because he's heavy-handed, he'll keep his hands busy, and it'll keep Alvarez's hands at home early in the fight. And at a certain point, Alvarez is going to nail him and he's going to fold because that's what almost always happens. And that's not what happened. Kovalev, maybe he was right about being overtrained. Buddy McGirt deserves credit for the kind of philosophical approach. Just go back to what you do. Box and don't worry about the knockout. If it comes, it comes. Meanwhile, you'll be winning rounds and you'll keep your stamina, all those things. But Kovalev is the guy who, before the fight, I said, look, it's a bunch of excuses pointing to different trainers. So now I can't take credit away from him and just credit Buddy. Kovalev deserves enormous credit. What he did was exceedingly rare.
Is he going to be able to do that against some of the other? I mean, obviously he has some history with Alvarez, but will he be able to do that with guys like Dmitry Bivol and some of these other younger guys?
Well, that remains to be seen, but Andre said it during the broadcast. I asked him, did he think he broke Kovalev in that fight when he went to the body? Kovalev really packed it in. And he said, look, whenever a guy quits, he leaves a piece of him in the ring. He'll never be the same, but that doesn't mean he's ruined. It doesn't mean he can't compete on a high level. And Kovalev here competed on a high level. Now, it's good news for the fans. The bad news for Kovalev is that he went from dominating a weak division at his best to something less than the best version of himself just as the division got stronger. So does this version of Kovalev beat Bivol or beat Beterbiev? Does it or does it just compete with him? I don't know, but that's more interesting than the way it was anyway.
Yeah, sure. All right, Max, EJ from 3kingsboxing.com. Do you think that part of Eleider Alvarez's inadequacies in the ring tonight had to do with him thinking that he could come in and fight Kovalev based on saying, hey, I knocked him out in the first fight, you think I could fight him the same way?
Well, I thought he had the right idea. You have to be careful with Kovalev early, especially if he's boxing nice and easy. Which, I mean, first of all, at the stare down, he didn't look right to me. I thought he looked scared.
Right.
And then he wanted to touch gloves at third or fourth round. Third round, he wants to touch gloves. He really, like the bully, wants to make friends.
Right.
And Alvarez is like, nah, forget that. And I thought, ooh, this is going Alvarez's way. So it's not that Alvarez was wrong about, the idea. But at a certain point, when you see this guy isn't folding, I'm going to have to take more risks. Alvarez was not willing to take the risks. He was relying on Kovalev folding at the first sign of adversity, and when Kovalev didn't do that, Alvarez wasn't willing to do what it would take to try to see if Kovalev would quit, to push it farther. And if Kovalev wouldn't quit, to just beat him straight up. And that's on Alvarez.
Gilberto Surdo Ramirez was in the crowd today, moving up to 175. He said he wanted the winner of tonight's fight. Obviously, Kovalev is Surdo ready to take on the challenge that is Kovalev.
I suspect he'll have a fight at 75 first to get his feet wet at the division, and then see who he'd want to, what names at the top he would make an opponent for. Not that he views himself as an opponent, an undefeated middleweight titleist, but he would likely be the underdog against either one of these. Certainly against Bivol or Kovalev or the elite of the division.